Hello, 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 and happy fucking Wednesday. And welcome to People Talk Now. I'm your host, Vanessa Herrera, and this is the show where you ask about it and I talk about it. And let's not forget, guys, we are constantly trying to change the pace out there on what these people are calling better days. And yes, welcome, good morning. I don't know what everyone's doing this morning, if you're even up yet. I know a lot of people are sleeping in during this quarantine, but yeah, what's the topic today? What do we got? Self-confidence. All right. I hope you got your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, your hot cocoa, because we're in for a ride, guys. So last week, we talked about the power of thoughts, right? And so this week, I thought, let's jump in and talk about self-confidence. Is self-confidence something that we are just born with, or is it something that we grow into? So yeah, I really wanted to dive deeper into that. So I don't know if a lot of you have heard, but I kind of announced it a little over the weekend, I believe. Yeah. So I shaved my head. So yeah, what's up with that? And I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of questions. And honestly, I am all open to any questions you guys may have after the show. But I shaved my head because I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't have any attachments to my hair, that I didn't need my hair to feel confident, to feel beautiful, to feel powerful, to feel feminine, to feel any of you know, the above of what I'm saying. Like, I didn't want no attachment to it, and I didn't want it holding any power over me. And so it felt, at first it was really nerve-wracking going through the whole experience. And as a lot of you know, there is a YouTube video up today on this beautiful Wednesday morning during quarantine. Yeah, but basically, I wanted to show the video because I just wanted to show the reality of it, to just kind of show you guys, like, you know, the whole process and kind of just how I felt during it and, you know, what it entailed. But more than anything, it was just to show women out there that it's okay to step out of the norm of what society has told us is normal, which is having a full set of hair, right? Because as women, our hair kind of holds some sort of power over us, right? Because we get up and a lot of us brush our hair. We have to wash it. We have to maintain it. We put it up in buns. We put it in braids. We color it. We cut it. We dye it. We do all these things, all these costly things, and just the maintenance of it. And it's so stressful, honestly, being a woman, just because of all these things that society and just generations of family have put in our heads of what we need to be and what we need to do to be a woman. And so I just wanted to break free from all that. I just wanted to prove to myself that I'm way more than that, and to show my daughter and to show any women in my family that know me that you don't need your hair to be beautiful, that we don't need to prove anything to anybody, that our self-worth comes from what we think we are. And so, on that note, as you guys will see, if some of you haven't already watched it, the video is already out, so you can see that whole process. I really didn't, I did the first buzz on my own, but I don't know why I had an easier time letting go, just letting someone do it, just, you know, like letting my husband do it, letting my niece cut some pieces off, because I didn't want to feel like, oh my God, if I do it myself, like I did, I got to feel the experience of buzzing a piece off, but I kind of just more than anything, wanted to prove to myself that it was just easy for me to let it go, right? Because I just wanted to feel that liberation, right? That knowing that it was something new was about to happen for me, that I was about to discover so much more about myself than I thought I knew, right? Because when a woman loses her hair, she has nowhere to hide, right? Me not having any hair, all of my imperfections, my perfections, everything just out in the open. People just having to focus on my face and nothing else other than that, just really was just proving to me like what kind of woman I really am and what I really stand for. And it's a really liberating feeling, honestly. But self-esteem and self-confidence, I feel like they sort of intertwine with one another, right? Because when your self-esteem is good and it's flowing, well, your self-confidence it's in a balance, right? You're feeling good. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about self-confidence today, not just because I decided off with my hair, right? That's not the only reason why I wanted to talk about self-confidence. Me shaving my hair, that's something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Like I've been thinking about that for years, right? But every time the thought would come across, I don't know. I just guess I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure if, I was really ready to commit to just face myself, right? Because really that's what it is. Because I don't really believe, speaking for myself, I really would like to believe that I chose this for myself because ultimately I knew that this was me letting go, like of one of the last final pieces, right? Like because our hair contains history, right? Our hair contains memories of the past. Our hair, especially my hair has been with me for a long time. And I just wanted to get rid of it. And I wanted to start a fresh, new head of hair. Hair of head or head of hair. You guys get me, right? So I wanted to start brand new with this, with the way that I eat now. Like I just wanted a fresh, new, healthy hair. No, like none of that stuff or like, oh, diet, another color, go trim it or whatever, cut the dead ends. No, fuck that. It was all dead. Let's be real. I'm ready for some hair that's alive. I'm ready to just start fresh from the beginning and not be afraid. Hair to me it's meaningless. You see, the way I see it as a woman is that our hair has no meaning if we don't give it meaning. You feel me? I may be going way off the deep end here and getting really deep, but I just kind of wanted to describe to you guys why, let me put it to you this way. So that you can understand. If you were ill right now, or if any of us were ill, but let's be grateful that we're not. But I'm pretty sure that the last thing that you would be thinking about when you're ill or when you're feeling ill is like, oh, how does my hair look? And if you are thinking about that, then you have to ask yourself, like, wow, really? Like, am I really causing myself more illness on top of what I already feel? Because to put that sort of strain on yourself as a woman, that's like, it's not worth it, It just doesn't seem worth it. Like now when you truly want to be 100% unconditionally happy, you feel me? Like it's just hair to me. And like having that power, the really saying, I don't give a flying fuck. Like that's what I'm talking about. To me, that's real power. And so I asked myself this question. I said to myself, what is self-esteem, right? Because we're talking about self-esteem and confidence. I feel like each and every one of us have self-esteem, right? Self-esteem is made up of the thoughts that we have about ourselves, and it plays a role in almost everything that we do. I feel like having a healthy self-esteem it's really important, as it kind of helps us make positive choices in our everyday life. I kind of feel like it gives us that courage to be who we want to be, like our own person, and have good relationships with people, and just helps us deal with difficult situations, And one of the things I always feel about self-esteem and self-confidence is that it's so important for us to believe that deep down inside, that we can make a change, right? And I understand that change doesn't necessarily happen easy or quickly, but it can happen. So that's kind of one of the things that my advice when it comes to self-esteem, right? Because we're going to get into self-confidence. We'll get into that, but I had to tell you guys a real quick backstory, since a lot of my listeners know that, my head is shaved, and if you haven't seen the big reveal yet, don't worry, you will see soon, soon enough, if you haven't already. But one of the things that you can do to kind of boost your self-esteem, right? Because self-esteem and self-confidence, right? Challenge bad thoughts about yourself. How often do we have bad thoughts about ourselves? How often do we beat ourselves up worse than anybody could? Do you feel bad about your personality, of who you are, or your appearance? Do you often kind of doubt your ability to do or say things right? If you do, I would suggest something that I've tried. It may not work for you, but it's worth a shot. So try to replace them with more positive thoughts. Thoughts that kind of celebrate the things that you are good at. You can start, maybe start writing down a list of at least 3 things that you do well, right? For example, these are the 3 things that I have written down whenever I kind of have little moments where I may be doubting myself, right? These are the 3 things that I tell myself. I say, I'm good at writing. I don't know why, but seeing that in writing makes me feel so good. I tell myself, I have amazing skin. I say I'm great. I'm a helpful and a loyal friend to my friends, to my family. I'm kind, right? These are things that you can say to yourself. Why is it important that you make a little list like this? Why do I have a little list like this on my phone? I'll tell you why. Because when you remember this list, when you start feeling down or low, and this little list that I'm suggesting will help bring yourself back to that reality check that we need sometimes, every now and then. Because no one's saying it's going to be fucking peaches and cream 24/7, you guys. It's not what I'm saying. But this is about you boosting your goddamn confidence up. You can even write these. You don't have to put it in your phone like I do. I know some people have vision boards. You could even write it on a little small whiteboard if you have one in your room, Post-it notes on your laptop, on your notes app, on your phone, wherever. Okay, these are just little suggestions I'm making of things that I try for myself. Okay, you guys already know it. You guys already know what's coming. We're talking about self-esteem and self-confidence. Take care of yourself. I bet you're like, wait, how, Vanessa? Do I go get a massage? That's an option. I'm not saying it's not. But eating well and exercising will boost those endorphins. How do I know? Because every time I eat a kale salad or just eat something, some greens and veggies, or anything healthy, really, just some fruits, a smoothie, whether you're eating well and exercising, whichever one you choose, if you do one or the other or both, that boosts your endorphins. And that's your body's natural way of making you feel happy, which leads to a domino effect of making you feel good on the inside. And guess what? It stimulates a more positive mood, because when you exercise, you'll ease stress and feel better about yourself, right? Even if it's you having a cheesy dance in your bedroom or in the garage like I've been doing lately because quarantine. Oh gosh. Or going for a jog around the block with your mask on are great ways to boost your self-esteem. Okay, here's something that I don't do enough, but I probably should sometimes. Relax. Life is not that fucking serious. Unless there's a virus outside that could possibly kill you, then you probably should relax and stay home. But the constant feeling of stress can play a huge role in low self-esteem. It makes you feel like you have negative thoughts more often. I feel like it reduces your confidence, and you're probably going to feel too tired to exercise because, again, maybe you don't relax enough. Be social or do a lot of the things you love. I understand right now, we're limited because we can't really be going to people's houses because of, quarantine life and not. But there is other ways that you can reach out to your friends and, people around you. Text them. I've been using the Zoom app. It's been working pretty well. But do the things that you love. I feel like as humans, excuse me, reducing our stress by taking the time to do something that we find personally relaxing is a great starting point right there because you feel better. And I mean, this could be anything, you guys. The options are, we're not that limited. Like, think of all the things that you could do to relax at home. You could take a nice bath. You can meditate, you can play some games, you can dance, you could sing, you name it. If it works for you, it fucking works. Just do it. Again, just because, we're talking about self-esteem and you're probably like, well, what do I need to work on that right now? I mean, like, I'm at home, I'm not going anywhere. No, wrong, because it's not going to be like this forever. And you could be using this time to make yourself better, to feel better, to look at yourself in the mirror and be better. Set goals. Take the time every day to think about what you'd like to achieve when all this quarantine madness is over. Think about, realistic goals that you can set for yourself each day and just try to keep track of them. Keep yourself accountable by writing down the accomplishments that you kind of already got done, I feel like even just me, like sometimes, like I don't even, give myself a little pat in the back for tidying up as much as I do all the time. But we all know how challenging that can be, especially when you do it every day. You kind of feel like you get in a rut, especially when you clean as much as I do. But again, set goals, you guys. You'll feel an enormous sense of accomplishment. You guys have no idea how good I feel just knowing that even though, I'm pretty limited on where we can all go right now, just getting up every day and doing the things that I do, things like just making my fucking bed, you guys. I feel like a badass, man. Make my bed. I'm still getting up. You would have sworn that I'm still getting up and taking the kids to school and everything, but except I'm the teacher and, everything's still going as planned, Nothing's changed. Yeah, so the trick here, though, don't get discouraged by the list. Some days you won't manage to get it all done, and that's okay too, man. Don't. We're talking about your self-esteem here. We all have days where things are just off, but just try to get on it the next day and see how you get on. I feel like it always feels good for our self-esteem when we help other people out. It's amazing how much confidence, can't even talk right now. It's too early. It's amazing how our confidence can often just feel boosted when we do selfless acts for other people. Helping someone out is an amazing way to make you feel good about yourself. This can be a friend, a family member, even a classmate who's struggling with their work, FaceTime them, help them out during these times. Even you could give someone some advice, just be there to listen to a problem, whatever the case may be, just be there for somebody. Do one thing a week to help someone else without expecting anything in return. I assure you that right there is going to help, your self-esteem, your confidence. Take a different perspective. That's always helped me out. Sometimes it feels hard to start something. It does, even working out. But if you look at a tricky situation from different angles, through a more realistic lens, you'll realize that you actually can do what you want. You just need to apply a little more oomph or positivity, but you need to just kick it in the, I don't know, I got nothing for that one, but you got to kick it up a notch. Try to replace thoughts like, why should I bother, with, I won't know unless I actually try. Because I used to think like that. I used to be like, you just get into that, like, oh, why do I even bother with this? Like, but you realize after so many days of doing it, like, that does wonders for your self-confidence. Try new things, man. Don't be a victim of the same fucking repetitive story over and over. Try new things. You'd be surprised when you try different things and you try to be not somebody, again, we're always the same person. We're just evolving into the best version, 2.0 version of ourselves. The thing is that if you want to change something, an aspect about yourself, you can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid of the what ifs. That's the exciting part right there. See, everybody fears the what ifs, right? But to me, that excitement is what helps boost my confidence right there. So those are just things to think about, Try new things. Our brains are really good at learning new stuff. I love talking about the brain. You guys, I don't know if you guys know that, but the more new stuff you learn, the better you get at learning it. And the more likely you'll find things that you can be passionate about. And who doesn't want that? You know what that does for your self-esteem? I mean, Jesus Christ. So many things that you can get into being at home. Imagine what learning a new instrument could do for you. Imagine what that would do for your self-esteem, your confidence, just knowing that you just tried it and then you stuck with it, and you know what I mean? It's very important when it comes to our self-confidence to surround ourselves with people who make you feel good. Sometimes our friends don't make us feel good. And that's okay. You just need to spend your time with other people who appreciate and care about you more. This doesn't even need to be your friends, but they could be family members, online friends, or neighbors. If they're making you feel good and you're being safe, trust me, that's where it's at. That's where the money is at. Again, accepting ourselves, right? Nobody's perfect. What the fuck is even perfect? Like, what the fuck is even perfect, right? Because I don't know. I've seen what it means in the dictionary, but, I would like to go up to the fucking asshole that created the word perfect, right? Because what is perfect? Why is it that everyone thinks that if they become perfect, that suddenly is going to fix your self-confidence and your self-esteem? If you even have a self-esteem or self-confidence problem, right? Is it even a problem? Or are we just being who we are, right? Nobody's perfect, first of all right? But we all have issues and we all have flaws. And I'm sure you've heard some fucking person on the internet say this before. But look, I'm not kidding about this. You are unique. I am just as I am unique. I'm different. And if anybody's ever said anything to you along these lines like, oh, we may be different in this. No, fuck that. We're not. You and I, we're the same people. We have the same heart. We all want the same thing. At the end of the day, we all just want to be loved. We want to feel good. We want to feel appreciated. You know what I mean? Like, we want that from ourselves and for our family. So if anybody's ever told you like, oh, look, we are humans. I don't see any separation with race, gender, age, sex, whatever you want to say. The whole fact of the matter is that just knowing Like, that's what would make me feel good, right? Because when I go out there, I'm not going to look at somebody and say to myself as a woman or a man and say, well, this person holds more value over my life because someone else out there said that they are maybe more beautiful or they are more this or more popular, whatever, more, they have better clothing, whatever it is that would make someone feel basically like someone is more superior to them, needs to really look in the mirror and say, like, you know what? Like, because whatever way we look at somebody, right? Like, that's what made it so easy for me to shave my head, because I say to myself, well, I feel beautiful. I feel free, right? It's not my problem, and it sure in the hell isn't. I wasn't appointed the job to worry about what anybody's going to say, because whatever someone sees in me, right? Whatever someone sees in you, it's not you. It's a reflection of who they see inside themselves. And trust me when I say that bothers people, right? When you call them out on that, because the truth is that a lot of the times when people when people judge other people, it's because of what they see in themselves, and they have not faced themselves. And that's something that, I know that I mentioned in the caption where I said, are we born with confidence, or is that something that we build along the way, right? I like to think that somewhere along the line, we were children, all of us, because we were. And somewhere along the line, maybe we had an aunt or an uncle, right? Maybe it all started when someone maybe made a comment, right? And it's really crazy. Like, we don't really realize, I think, until we get older and we start going through life, how when kids are told certain things, how much it impacts them, how they absorb things, how they listen, how they really, really listen. But I think the first people that judge us before anybody is our family. And it always starts with our family. Because, I remember as a child, like family members saying, I was skinny, or this, like little comments here and there. You take those things with you, right? And sure, maybe you don't really think about them too much, right? Maybe you carry them with you. But then as the days and the years go by, maybe you run across another person. Maybe you get older, you meet someone else, and maybe someone else makes a similar comment or makes a different comment, right? But all those things you start taking into your thoughts, right? And then what do our thoughts do? They start creating scenarios. We start creating things that, again, we start breaking ourselves down internally. Maybe we become obsessive over certain things. And so that's why it's very important for us to, I think, realize that, we are unique and that nobody is better than anybody. I think that a lot of things started becoming weird and terrible for a lot of us human beings is when people started labeling certain things, right? The beauty industry is fucking booming. I don't have an exact amount of the amount of fucking trillions, billions of dollars that they are coming in, that they're basically making off of women with insecurities, or maybe not all women have insecurities. Maybe not all women have low self-esteem. But again, the beauty industry is definitely winning, because the way I see it, until the day that all women come together and say, you know what, fuck this. None of us need any of this shit to be fucking beautiful, to be this, to be that. Like, fuck you guys, man. Like, and fucking stick this up your ass type of thing. Then again, there's always just going to be women separated. because some women may decide to wear makeup and feel like they're completely beautiful, and then that's okay. And some women may decide to wear makeup and feel beautiful, and that's still okay. But some, again, there's so many situations that involve self-esteem, self-confidence, and all this, I don't want to get into the beauty industry aspect, but I know one of the reasons why I shaved my head, I had, a couple reasons, but one of them was because I also just want to feel free. I don't want to feel like nothing is holding me down when I wake up in the morning. I just want to wake up. I don't want to have to worry about my hair and just know that I'm still gorgeous. I'm still beautiful. You feel me? And that's exactly what I feel. As a matter of fact, I feel more powerful with no hair than having a set full of hair. But power to you people. It's important that you keep reminders, visual reminders of things that make you feel good when we're talking about self-confidence and your self-esteem. We are we are living in an age where we have a camera in our pocket at all times. So take more pictures, capture those memorable moments. When you look back at them, you'll realize how many awesome things you've done this year. I mean, this year's still early. We're only, 4 months in? But these are things to think about, I feel like one of the things that held me back, since we're talking about self-confidence, right? Self-confidence. But I feel like one of the things that held me back from pursuing my dreams for many, many years was fear of failure and the lack of self-confidence that I needed to overcome that fear, right? I remember there were so many times where I just wanted to pursue and just say all right, I'm going to start up my YouTube channel, but then I wouldn't. To me, that has to do with self-confidence, because every time I would start, obviously that and the lack of discipline of just being okay, I have to film. And I don't think I was ready for that. I don't think, maybe I felt like I wasn't good enough to do it because there's just so many people already doing it. But then, reading a lot of books helped me, having supportive family, just talking to people, and just being more social and just opening up more and allowing myself to be vulnerable kind of helped me overcome that fear and just say, you know what, let me just jump into it. And I remember I had already started a YouTube channel. I do have my personal YouTube channel, and then there's my podcast YouTube channel. But I remember I started on that one, and I, was doing cooking shows and recipes and fitness and everything that I love, that you guys know that I love. And if you're a new listener, then you'll soon learn that those are a lot of things that I like to, I guess you could say, promote to people around me, because I want to help those around me to become better people. You know what I mean? I want to help people become healthier and, a lot of things, make them realize that they have the same potentials that I do to do the things that I've done. So last year, on September 11th, September 9th is when I actually had started the YouTube. But then 2 days later, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I remember my husband came home and I was just like, hey, so yeah, I started a podcast. And here we are, 31 episodes later, And so I'm really happy because I'm being really vulnerable right now, and I'm telling you guys hey, these are things that have really helped me with my confidence, just taking that leap and just saying, you know what, I am my worst enemy. I am the person that's going to hold me down. You know what I mean? And I feel like that fear of failure is something that we all face to some degree, I think. Anyways, but the key question here is, how do you overcome that fear? Well, I feel like by working on your self-confidence and self-esteem, without really thinking of it in those terms, I think, but that's what I've been doing over the years. And that's what helped me finally overcome my fears and finally pursue my dreams, which is create this podcast and start making more YouTube channels and just doing the footwork, reaching out, networking and things like that. But I know that I can beat them. I know that whenever I have those fears and those doubts, I can break through the wall of fear and come out on the other side. I've done it many times. And success will fuel you further for more success. Trust me on that. Again, taking control of your self-confidence, like say if you're low in self-confidence, right? It is possible to do the things that will change that, right? While it may seem to some people that, self-confidence and low self-esteem are kind of like maybe not the same thing, I feel like they kind of are. Because, self-esteem comes from like, I guess you could say, I don't know. That's a really good question, honestly, because self-esteem is something that you feel when someone basically it is, because confidence comes from within you, right? It's something that you feel from success, right? But the esteem part, like your esteem, is kind of when you have it, right? And you can have that at a good balance, right? So say someone hurts you and you allow that to enter into the power of your thoughts, right, inside, then affects your self-esteem. And that's how if we believe that, right? If we believe that to be true, right? What someone says about us, which has to do with our self-esteem, then of course our self-esteem will drop, right? Because we lose confidence and we lose self-esteem because we believe that those things to be true. So I feel like any of us can be, we can be worthy of respect because we are worthy of respect, first of all. And someone can pursue anything. Any of you can pursue whatever you want, despite the people, the naysayers or the negative people in your life. You can. Trust me, I know you can. I feel like, I strongly believe that you can do things to increase your self-confidence. Do I believe it's genetic? No, I don't. At least that's what I read when I researched that if it's something that can be genetically passed down to someone. It's been proven that it's not genetic, so don't try to come at me and be like, well, I genetically have no confidence. Because I will slap the shit out of you. Just playing, no, in a loving way. But you do not have to be kind of relying on others to increase your self-confidence. Don't be one of those people that maybe is relying a little bit too much, because again, this is something that you got to work on yourself. You got to work, put in the work. And I really believe that you can increase your confidence. If you believe that you're not very competent, not very smart, not very attractive, etc., that can be changed. That's not something that has to stay that way. What are some things that you can do on your own to boost your self-confidence, right? Simple little things. First of all, groom yourself. Go take a shower, okay? Just because you're in quarantine does not mean that you have to be stanky, okay? But I love you, okay? I love you either way, but again, these are things that make you feel good. How good do you feel after you go take a shower and you come out and you're in your towel? Maybe you sit on your bed or maybe you sit on the toilet. I don't know where some people sit, but I know I just kind of chill. You feel good. You have a moment where you're clear-headed. When you think of yourself all clean and squeaky clean, you look in the mirror, you feel good about yourself. But that's one little thing. Dress nicely, okay? You don't have to put on no Gucci belt, no $500 outfit, just casual clothes. As long as you're looking nice and presentable for yourself, that'll make your confidence feel pretty damn good. Think positive. I feel like one of the things that I learned, when I started doing this podcast, was that I can actually really change my thoughts. And by doing that, I can make great things happen. Right? And you're like, oh, come on, Vanessa, really? No, seriously. With this tiny little skill, I was able to train myself, right? From like moments where maybe something maybe something happens to me and it kind of gets me in a funk, right? Or maybe something didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. My turnaround rate from upset or whatever, bummed out, whatever the case may be, to like back to happy is quick. It's responsive. It's like the internet. So for, this works. Just try it. First of all, you guys, if you are out there, I don't know what day it is. Is it day 17 of the quarantine? I'm reporting live from my podcast bedroom. Kill negative thoughts, you guys. It kind of goes hand in hand, right? But it's important that first of all, you have to learn to be aware of your self-talk, right? The thoughts that you have about yourself and what you're doing. Because you have to recognize this negative self-talk inside you, right? That little voice, that little voice that says, like, maybe you step into a room and there's people there and maybe they got a conversation going on, right? And it looks really important, but, all you want to do is just kind of step in and be part of the club, right? But then you came in, oddball person, and everyone's just kind of like, so who's this person, and you just may feel a little bit awkward. Well, that all that little talking that happens in your head while you're just kind of waiting to have your moment to jump into the conversation. Well, that's your voice. That's the negative self-talk, right? The one that says, well, maybe I shouldn't say anything because maybe I don't have anything worthy of saying because everyone here seems like they're saying interesting things and I don't know if I can jump into this. Well, don't listen to that stupid fucking voice because that's the negative voice. You want to wait for that positive one, that reassuring one, the one that's got your back voice, right? So, again, I feel like I learned a trick that changed everything in my life, right? I would imagine that a negative thought, right? Whenever I have a negative thought, it's a bug. And I would vigilantly be on the lookout for these bugs. Because when I caught one, I wasn't going to stomp on it because I don't kill bugs. But I was going to take it outside because it did not belong in my house. And then replace it with a positive one. Like, come on, man, I could do this. What? I only got 1 mile left? What? I only have half a gallon of milk left? What? Positive thoughts. Know yourself and you will win all battles. Sun Tzu. What a beautiful quote, right? Get to know yourself. Okay, these are things that have helped me boost my confidence. There's nothing like reading books, writing, listening to music, just going out on journeys. I understand right now we can't really go on that many journeys, but again, there's a lot of things that you can do here at home that can help you get to know yourself. When going into a battle, right? Let's think about it like this. When going into a battle, the wisest general learns to know his enemy very, very well. And you can't defeat the enemy without knowing him. And when you're trying to overcome a negative self-image and replace it with self-confidence, your enemy is yourself. So get to know yourself well. Start listening to your thoughts. Start writing a journal about yourself and about the thoughts you have about yourself. And start analyzing why you have such negative thoughts about yourself. Like, damn, boo, why are you doing that to yourself? You're a badass. Like, do you not see the uniqueness in you? There is nobody that has your digital code, right? The stars aligned specifically for the day that you were born. And then think about the good things about yourself, the things that you can do well, the things that you like, and start thinking about your limitations and whether they're real limitations or just ones that you've allowed to be placed there artificially. Dig deep within yourself, and you'll come out eventually with even greater self-confidence, because that's what happened to me. I started realizing that I was my fucking worst enemy, right? And some of us don't want to face that. Like, we don't want to face ourselves. Some people say like, oh yeah, they're confident and all that, but you know when people are confident. Like, you just know. You feel that aura. You walk into the room and you're just like, well, goddamn, I want to walk and sit next to that person because you just feel it just like there's like little explosions going off next to them, you feel it. Okay, you know how people always say, well, think positive. Well, fuck your positive thinking. How about acting positive? Okay, now, more than just thinking positive, you have to put it into action. Word of the year 2020, action. Actually, action is actually the key to developing self-confidence. You know why? You want to know why I know that? Because it's the one thing to learn to think positive. But when you start acting on it, you change yourself. One action at a time. You are what you do. And so if you change what you do, you change what you are. So act in a positive way, please. Take action instead of telling yourself you can't be positive. Talk to people in a positive way. Put energy into your actions. And you'll soon start to notice a difference. Because I know I did. Be kind and generous. I get it. Vanessa, that's so corny. But if this is corny for you, move on. But for the rest of you, know that being kind to others and generous with yourself and your time and what you have is a tremendous way to improve your self-image. Right? You act in accordance with the golden rule, and you start to feel good about yourself and to think that you're a good person. It does wonders for your self-confidence. Believe me. Let me tell you guys this quote by someone named Arthur Ashe. He says, one important key to success is self-confidence. A key to self-confidence is preparation. I repeat, preparation. Get prepared. It's hard to be confident in yourself if you don't think you'll do well at something. Beat that feeling by preparing yourself as much as possible. Right? You just got to be prepared. Be ahead. Whether you're studying, study your butt off. Whether you're working at a place that you want to move up, work your ass off, right? You want to be a good YouTuber? Well, fucking blog your ass off, whatever you do. Prepare yourself. Think of life as your exam and prepare yourself. First of all, I know a lot of people talk about principles, right? But what are principles upon which your life is built? If you don't know, you will have trouble because your life will feel like it has no direction. For myself, I feel like I try to live the golden rule. I fail often, but I don't know. I think about principles, right? Maybe you haven't given them much thought, but I try to live my life passionately. The things that I like to do, I try to do them with passion. And just believe in them. Believe in them and act on them. Okay? Speak slowly. Such a simple thing, right? But it can be a big difference in how others perceive you. A person in authority, with authority, speaks slowly. It shows confidence. A person who feels that he isn't worth listening to will speak quickly, like super fast. Because he doesn't want to keep others waiting on something not worthy of listening to. But if you don't feel the confidence of someone who speaks slowly, try doing it a few times. It will make you feel more confident. Of course, don't take it to an extreme, but just don't sound rushed either. Okay, this is something that I've definitely, even though I feel like I have pretty good confidence, I feel like I often don't stand tall. What do I mean by that? I have horrible posture. So it will sound hypocritical for me to give this advice, but I know it works because I try it sometimes. I try to sit up straight. But when I remind myself to stand tall and straight, I feel better about myself. I imagine that a rope is pulling the top of my head toward the sky. And I feel like the rest of my body straightens up. So as an aside, people who stand tall and confident are generally more attractive people. And that's a good thing any day in my book. I don't know. Set a small goal and achieve it, right? That does wonders for my self-confidence. I feel like people often make this mistake, that shooting, like they shoot too high and maybe to the moon, and then when they fail, they get discouraged. Instead, why don't we try shooting for some smaller goals? Set a goal that you know you can achieve and then achieve it. And you will feel good about that. Set another small goal, achieve that. And the more you achieve small goals, the better you'll be at it and the better you feel. And soon you'll be setting bigger, more achievable goals, and you'll achieve those too. And guess what that's going to do for your self-confidence? Yeah, you guessed it right. Cha-ching! Smile. I know, right? So tedious. Vanessa, what? What do you mean? What does that have to do with something? Well, I mean, come on, man. I know it's tedious, but it works. I feel instantly better most of the time. Like, if I smile, even if you have to fake it, it does something for you. It really does. It can have a chain reaction. And honestly, it's not a bad investment of your time and energy. Smiling is good for your bones, for your body, for your everything. Be grateful. I'm a firm believer in gratitude. I feel like anyone who's been reading any of my things that I've ever posted, I try to talk about just, being grateful and just realizing that you have, if you woke up today, you have another opportunity. Just be grateful for what you have in life, for what others have given you. It's a very humbling activity. And it can also be very positive, honestly, to improve your self-images. Your self-image, my self-image, everyone. Empower yourself with knowledge. That's one of the best advice that I can give that has to do with self-confidence and your self-esteem. I feel like the more I started reading the past few years has done wonders for me, because empowering yourself in general is one of the best strategies for building self-confidence. You can do that in many ways. But one of the surest ways to empower yourself is through knowledge. Why? Because you feel like you can just walk into any conversation with anybody. You can talk to anybody because you just read. You're knowledgeable of many things. And this, along the same vein as building confidence and getting prepared, is becoming more knowledgeable. You'll be more confident. You become more knowledgeable by doing research and studying. And of course, I feel like I always tell you guys, use the internet to your advantage. It's a great tool, of course, but so are the people around you. People who have done what you want, books, magazines, educational things. Just empower yourself with knowledge. You'll thank me later. Do something that you've been procrastinating on. What's on your to-do list that's been sitting there? Do it first thing in the morning. Do it today. Do it sometime today. Get it out of the way, and you'll feel great about yourself. Get active. Do something. Doing something is almost always better than not doing anything. Of course, I'm sure you've heard that. But doing something could lead to mistakes. But mistakes are part of life. It's how we learn. Without mistakes, we'd never get better. So don't worry about those. Just do something. Get off your butt. Get off your ass, whatever term makes you more active. Get active physically, or active by taking steps to accomplish something that you really want to do. And work on small things. Trying to take a huge project or task, trying to take it on, can be overwhelming sometimes, intimidating for anybody, even the best of us. Just learn to break off small chunks and work in little bursts. Because like I always said earlier, small little achievements make you feel good and they add up to big achievements. Learn to work like this all the time and soon you'll be a self-confident fucking maniac. Trust me. Clear your desk, okay? I try to make sure that I do that after every podcast, after whenever I'm up, on my desk writing poetry, writing something, I try to make sure my desk is as neatly as possible, because having clear surroundings just makes your confidence just fly through the roof. Top of the charts. Clean your desk, okay? Because this might seem like a small, simple thing, but again, for some of you, it might not be so small, but it has always worked wonders for me. If my desk starts to get messy and the world around me is in chaos, clearing off my desk is my way of getting a little piece of my life under control. I will end this quote that is by Walt Disney. He says, somehow I can't believe that there are any heights that can't be scaled by a man who knows the secrets of making dreams come true. This special secret, it seems to me, can be summarized in 4 C's. They are curiosity, confidence, and courage, and consistency. And the greatest of all is confidence. When you believe in a thing, believe in it all the way, implicitly and unquestionable. That was amazing. So yeah, I really hope that anything that I said here today, resonated with you, anything that you found helpful. Again, you guys can always reach out to me. I always welcome any questions, anything that you might want to add. You can even message me if you listen to the show. If there's something that stuck out to you and that you took from the show, I would really like to hear from you guys. And I would love to talk about it in my next podcast. Just reach out to me and let me know what it is that you took from the show. Again, but I hope something that I said makes sense here today. But yeah, oh my God. Let me just say that shaving my hair was like such a fun experience. It was so nerve-wracking. My armpits were sweating. I just felt nervous. My heart was pounding. But in the end, it was just hair, and hair grows back. And, the only thing that you can't get back is your life. So I'm just grateful to have that. You know what I mean? I'm grateful to have myself and my family and above else, great friends and supporters, The hair is the least of my worries. But yeah, you guys just know that you're all unique and beautiful in your own way. You don't need me to tell you that. But if you do, I'm here telling you you're beautiful and unique in your own way. On that note, I just also wanted to clarify before I get into the joke and word of the day that there will be 2 videos posted up today if you haven't already watched them. One will be a visual, which will be of me getting my hair buzzed off. And the second one will be the regular video I post every week, which is basically just the audio version of my podcast, which you're probably listening to now. So thank you so much for always listening. And if you have any questions regarding today's show or anything that you would like to add, always feel free to email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. So let's go with the joke of the day. So the joke of the day is called Armed Robber. A shop assistant tried shopping an armed robber. Oh yeah, sorry, read that wrong. So a shop assistant tried stopping an armed robber by attacking him with a labeling gun. Police are now looking for a man with a price on his head. At first I didn't get it because I was like, wait, what? But then I just realized labeling gun, price, got it. He got stamped. I hope he was free 99. I would hate to have to pay for an armed robber since he has a price on his head. But that was kind of corny, but cute. But probably would sound funnier coming from someone else besides me. If any of you have any jokes that you like to share with me, because it's so hard to find good jokes. But if you can find some good jokes for me, I sure would like to hear them. So again, email them to me or, at peopletalknow@hotmail.com, and I would love to share them on the next show. So, as always, you guys know that I like to leave the show with you guys learning a new word. So we always have a word of the day. So, this morning's word of the day is mendacious. That is spelled mendacious. So, mendacious means given to or characterized by deception or falsehood from absolute truth. Did you know mendacious and lying are very similar meanings, but the two are not interchangeable. Mendacious is more formal and literary, suggesting a deception harmless enough to be considered somewhat bland. Lying is more blunt. It's more like you're accusing someone and more confrontational. You might yell, "You lying rat," in an argument, but you would most likely stick to the more diplomatic, "Aren't you being somewhat mendacious?" in a business meeting. So mendacious can also imply habitual untruthfulness, whereas lying is more likely to be used to identify specific instances of dishonesty. Ooh, wow. Okay. So I'm telling you guys that I am, how can we use mendacious? So, okay. So people talk now is not being mendacious when they are saying that self-confidence can definitely be built. Okay? Are we born with it? I don't think so. I think that was something that we have to be aware of. We have to know. I think that when we're children, I don't really think that we're already thinking all these things. We're just free, we don't really think of anything. So I think self-confidence is just something that kind of grows when people start putting things in our heads, and we suddenly start living outside of ourselves instead of inside. So yeah, mendacious, word of the day. Go out there and use it. Use it in a sentence and tag People Talk Now on Instagram. I'll share it to my stories. Oh my goodness, yes. So again, you guys, thank you guys always so much for listening and being supportive. We're 31 weeks in, and I couldn't be more happy. And yeah, on another note, I just wanted to add that if you ever have any suggestions, if there's any topics that you guys would like for me to discuss, feel free to email me at peopletalknow@hotmail.com, and I will be glad to talk about them in my future shows. Just hit me up. And yeah, as always, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a really dope as a Wednesday. And stay happy, you guys. Stay productive and stay home. Love you guys. And yeah, as always, have a kick-ass Wednesday. Bye.